Have you ever wondered how a single moment of misjudgment can change your life forever? Each day we navigate the intersection of risk and safety, making decisions that keep us from harm's way. Picture this, an individual swerving through life, distracted or drowsy, perhaps a tad too aggressive. Their story is a potent reminder of how crucial our choices are. A single lapse, a mere moment of inattention, and suddenly, they're at the crossroads of a life-altering event. And so, in a split second, a normal day turned into a significant event. Now, imagine yourself in the shoes of this person, stuck in the snowstorm of consequences. Picture this, a person, perhaps just like you, misjudging a situation and paying the price. They were speeding down a road on their bike, weaving through traffic like an aggressive ostrich with its head in the sand, oblivious to the impending danger. No helmet, no knee pads, just an illusion of invincibility. As they approached the intersection, they encountered a fog of distraction. Unable to adjust their speed, they skid and crash. The shock was immediate, the pain severe. They found themselves injured, their body a map of misjudgment. The injury wasn't just physical, it was a rude awakening to the risks they had chosen to ignore. Like an ostrich pulling its head from the sand, they finally saw the reality of their choices. They realized that a moment's misjudgment could lead to a lifetime of consequences. A moment's misjudgment, a lifetime of consequences. But look at it this way, every cloud has a silver lining. We've taken a journey through the intersection of risk and safety and seen the severe consequences of misjudgment. It's clear that being cautious and paying attention could have prevented these accidents. The person at the heart of our story has adjusted their behavior and learned a valuable lesson. Obeying safety rules is crucial. They've learned to avoid hazards not just for their own sake but for those around them. Remember, safety is not just about protecting yourself, it's about ensuring a secure future for yourself and those around you.
Did you hurt yourself? One, listen and discuss. In which pictures did the people hurt themselves? How can they prevent that from happening? In which pictures were the people not hurt? Why weren't they hurt?
1. Listen and discuss. Common accidents.
Did you hurt yourself?
No, I'm okay.
Because he was wearing a helmet and knee pads, he didn't hurt himself.
Ouch! I got a shock.
So did I.
They didn't turn off the electricity, so they got a shock.
The driver wasn't injured.
Neither was his friend.
They didn't hurt themselves because they were wearing seatbelts.
How did you cut yourself?
I tried to open the can with a knife.
If you use the wrong equipment, you might hurt yourself.
The most common causes of automobile crashes. An average of 20 Saudi Arabian residents die on the country's roads each day, according to a report by the Saudi General Directorate of Traffic. Approximately 1.35 million people die each year on the world's roads, or one person every 25 seconds. 1. Distracted drivers. Many accidents occur when drivers don't pay attention and take their eyes off the road. Many occur when drivers are talking on their cell phones, adjusting the radio or CD player, or reading maps or even newspapers or other documents. 2. Driver fatigue. Drowsy and tired drivers are a danger. They may misjudge traffic situations, fall asleep at the wheel, or go off the road. The most common time to encounter tired drivers is between 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. 3. Speeding. Speeding increases the risk of crashing, reduces the amount of time necessary to avoid a crash, and makes the crash more severe if it occurs. 4. Aggressive driving. Here are some characteristics of aggressive drivers. They ignore the safety of others and take risks, such as by tailgating, driving too close to the driver in front, using rude gestures or verbal abuse, and not obeying traffic signs. 5. Bad weather. Heavy rain, snowstorms, sandstorms, high winds, and fog make driving more difficult. Drivers may have trouble seeing the road clearly. Drivers should slow down and, if necessary, pull off the road until the conditions improve.
Did you hurt yourself? Grammar. Reflexive pronouns. Use the reflexive pronoun when the subject and the object are the same person. Myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, themselves. He likes to look at himself in the mirror. Note: you can also use the reflexive pronoun to say that you did something without anyone's help. I fixed the hair dryer myself. Because versus so. The subordinate conjunction because introduces a reason. It tells why. The conjunction so introduces a consequence or a result. Most accidents happen because people don't pay attention. He didn't turn off the electricity, so he got a shock. So and neither. So and neither both show agreement with the speaker. So shows agreement with an affirmative statement. Neither shows agreement with a negative statement. A. I'm a careful driver. B. So am I. A. I'm not an aggressive driver. B. Neither am I. A. I hurt myself all the time. B. So do I. A. I very seldom cut myself. B. Neither do I. A. I burned myself on the stove. B. So did I. A. I didn't slip on the wet floor. B. Neither did I. A. I've been in one car accident in my life. B. So have I. A. I've never broken an arm or leg. B. Neither have I. Did you hurt yourself? 4 Language in context. Match the words with the pictures. Then make sentences to describe the pictures. 1. Sprain, ankle. 2. Poke, eye. 3. Fracture, arm. 4. Burn, hand. 5. Cut, finger. 6. Break, nose.
Five. Listening. Listen to the child psychologist talk about household dangers for children. Mark the items he mentions.
Most of the accidents involving young children happen in the home. Children are naturally curious. They explore and want to find out about things for themselves. If you leave a child out of your sight for a minute, the child will usually get into something. You should try to keep anything dangerous out of the reach of young children. It's very common for children to swallow their parents' pills because the children think the pills are candy. Any sparkling liquid might be confused with soda. The kitchen is a common place for children to have accidents. The stove seems to attract children most of the time. They want to check out what parents are cooking, so they knock over pots and pans and often burn themselves seriously. Electric sockets are another children's favorite. Make sure the sockets in your house are fingerproof. If you live in an apartment building and your building doesn't have window bars, keep all the windows locked in case children want to climb on the windowsills and look out. It's even worse if you have a balcony. Some people actually build safety nets to prevent children from falling off balconies. But I think parents' approach to dangerous situations is the most important thing, including things shown on TV. Don't let your child believe that he or she can fly or climb up the side of a 40-story building. Wearing a superhero costume doesn't make anyone a superhero who can fly. If you teach your children how to deal with danger, you will help to keep them out of harm's way.
Did you hurt yourself? 7 about you. 7 about you. In pairs, ask and answer the questions. Then switch roles. 1. Have you ever had an accident of any kind? 2. Have you ever broken a bone or had stitches for a cut or wound? 3. Have you ever burned yourself? How did you do it? 4. Do you think some people have more accidents than others? 5. What are the most common kinds of accidents among people you know? Jazm Alo Kylie for request jarjo1399@gmail.com. Samir, so, how did you hurt yourself? Jassim, I fell off my bike. Samir, really? So did I. My motorcycle skidded on a patch of oil on the road, and I crashed into a car. The last thing I remember was flying through the air and hitting the windshield. I woke up in the hospital. Jassim, were you wearing a helmet? Samir, yes, luckily I was. That's what probably saved my life. How about you? Jassim, I was cycling in the park, so I didn't think I'd need a helmet. I don't like wearing helmets, they're uncomfortable and unattractive. This squirrel came out of nowhere. I swerved, lost my balance, and hit a tree. I got off lightly, only a few bruises and a bump on my head. Samir, it was your lucky day. Jassim, yeah, that's too bad you broke both legs. You're going to be stuck in that wheelchair for a while, I guess. Samir, look at it this way. If I broke only one leg, there might not be enough room for all my friends to write their names on the cast. Hey, would you like to sign your name? Jazm Alo Kylie for requests jarjo1399@gmail.com.
Nine. Reading.
Unusual accidents and deaths. Many people are interested in stories of unusual accidents. Some of these stories have happy endings, but some, unfortunately, have unhappy ones.
Unhappy endings. According to the legend, the ancient Greek playwright Aeschylus was killed when an eagle dropped a tortoise on his head. The bird was trying to break the tortoise's shell on a rock in order to eat it. Aeschylus was bald, and the eagle thought the unfortunate man's head was a good rock on which it could break the shell. An 8-foot-tall ostrich was seen weaving through heavy traffic on a Saudi Arabian highway near Abha. One of the drivers filmed the scene and uploaded it on the internet. No one tried to stop and catch the 180-kilo bird that was taller than humans and ran at almost 70 kilometers per hour. It had probably escaped from a farm and ran into heavy traffic instead of the wild. Some people worry about being hit from things falling from outer space. There is only one person in all recorded history who has been killed by a meteorite. Manfredo Satala. The tragedy happened in 1680. Ahmed Ali lost his 8-year-old son in a drowning accident at a friend's house. His son had been invited to join other children at a friend's house to play and swim in the pool. According to the invitation, a lifeguard was going to be present. The young boy was really excited and begged his father to let him go. So Ahmed Ali picked him up from school and drove him to his friend's house before 1 p.m. That was the last time he saw him alive.
Happy endings. A German soldier was riding in the back seat of a World War I plane when the engine stalled as the result of an unusual gust of wind. He fell out of his seat while the plane was high above the ground. As he was falling, the plane's engine started again, and he landed back in his own seat. The pilot was then able to land the plane safely. Bob Hale jumped out of an airplane in November 1972, but his main parachute failed to open. His backup parachute also failed. Bob dropped about 3,000 feet, 900 meters, at 80 miles, 128 kilometers per hour, and hit the ground face first. After a moment, he got up and walked away with only minor injuries. It was an amazing escape. In September 2007, Phil LaMattina escaped death while he was driving at over 300 miles, 500 kilometers per hour in a drag race in Brisbane, Australia. Phil was racing down the track when his car became airborne, split in two, and burst into a fireball. He was knocked out, but he survived. Although he was in the midst of the ball of fire, Phil was burned only on the tip of his finger. When his brothers later showed him the video of the accident, Phil couldn't believe he was watching himself, and that he had such a lucky escape. Railroad worker Phineas P. Gage was working with some dynamite when it exploded unexpectedly. A bar that was 3 feet 1 meter long and that weighed 13 pounds 6 kilograms went clear through his head. He remained conscious, but was unable to see out of his left eye. After a while, his sight returned and he fully recovered.
Did you hurt yourself? 9 reading, A words. 1. Bald. D. Having no hair on the head. 2. To challenge. E. To contest or fight against. 3. To weave through. F. To move through something by turning and avoiding. 4. To hurl. B. To throw with great force. 5. To burst. A. To explode. 6. To recover. C. To get better. One. Which incident in the article do you think is the strangest or the most interesting? Why? Your answer. 2. Where do ostriches normally live? Why do you think this ostrich escaped? How did people react to the scene? Your answer. 3. Do you know anyone who avoided a bad accident? What happened? 4. Why do you think people are so interested in stories about other people's disasters? Your answer. 5. Why do you think people risk their lives in dangerous sports like drag racing, Formula One racing, skydiving, and so on? Your answer. Did you hurt yourself? 10 writing. A. Consider the following questions and discuss with a partner. 1. How many people drive in your family? How do you feel about driving? 2. What kind of car would you like to drive? Why? 3. Which age group causes more accidents? Teenagers, people over 25, people over 60. Why? B. Read the text and highlight the words and/or phrases that give information about the accident. What happened? Who caused it? When it happened? Who it happened to? Where it happened? Why it happened? How it happened? Write the words and/or phrases next to the headings. Now cover the text and use your notes to summarize the accident in your own words. Use so, because and although to connect your ideas. For example, although he was wearing his seatbelt, he still hit his head. The accident. It was morning and my older brother was driving me to school. Suddenly, a speeding car crashed into us at an intersection and threw us into a telephone pole. I was, fortunately, wearing my seatbelt, but I still managed to hit my face on the dashboard. I was unconscious for some time and woke up as I was taken out of the car and put into an ambulance. The driver of the car that hit us was also in the ambulance. I heard him say he was 90 years old. I was 15. scared to death and likely to end up with a scarred face for life. I started yelling, "Please stop driving! Stop driving!" I could not stop. I don't know what happened to the man. I never saw him again. I was released from hospital 2 weeks later. Since then I have always been a cautious driver and advised others to be careful.
As the car sped down the highway, the driver's phone rang. Glancing at the screen, they saw an urgent message from their boss. Without thinking, they reached for the phone, their eyes momentarily diverted from the road. In that split second, a car swerved into their lane, tires screeching and metal crumpling. The impact was sudden and violent, the world around them turning into a blur of twisted metal and shattered glass. Amidst the bustling city streets, a young cyclist, lost in the rhythm of their pedaling, failed to notice the red light flashing against the darkening sky. As they crossed the intersection, a car, its horn blaring in warning, slammed into their side. The world spun, a cacophony of sounds and colors, before everything faded into darkness. A car was going very fast down the road. The driver was looking at his phone. He didn't see the other car. The two cars crashed. The people in the cars were hurt.
Did you hurt yourself? 11 Form, meaning and function. Modal auxiliaries. Use must to talk about laws and rules. Use should to give advice. You must stop at the traffic lights. You should drive under the speed limit. You must not park on the sidewalk. You shouldn't eat when you're driving. Note. Must is stronger than should. It has a more formal or official tone. Adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner are normally formed by adding "ly" to an adjective. They express how something is done. How did he drive? He drove slowly. How did he walk? He walked quickly. Adjectives that end in l. Careful, carefully. Note. Sometimes an adjective and an adverb have the same form. He's a fast driver. He drives fast. He's a hard worker. He works hard. The adverb form of good is well. He's a good player. He plays well. Prepositions of place. The park is across from the school. The bank is between the post office and the restaurant. The pharmacy is next to the bookstore. The bus stop is on the corner. The museum is near the hotel. The airport is far from town. Note. To describe where we live, we can use the following prepositions. I live in Jeddah. City, I live on the 3rd floor. Building, I live on 1st Avenue. Street. Imperatives for directions. Take a left. Turn left. Take a right. Turn right. Go straight.
How Tuts. Nouns. Badge. Equipment. Fog. Helmet. Injury. Intersection. Knee pad. Ostrich. Risk. Shock. Snowstorm. Real talk. Guess. Look at it this way. Verbs. Adjust. Avoid. Crash. Encounter. Misjudge. Obey. Occur. Pay attention. Prevent. Release. Skid. Speed. Swerve. Tailgate. Weave. Lucky day. Stuck in. Verbs for injuries. Break. Burn. Cut. Die. Fracture. Poke. Scar. Slip. Sprain. Aggressive. Cautious. Distracted. Drowsy. Injured. Rude. Severe. Unconscious. Reflexive. Because. So. Jassim Alakayaliyaho 1399@gmail.com.
Badge, B-A-D-G-E, an identification or authority emblem worn on clothing. Equipment, E-Q-U-I-P-M-E-N-T, the necessary tools or materials used to perform a particular task. Fog, F-O-G, a thick mist that makes it difficult to see. Helmet, H-E-L-M-E-T, a protective covering for the head. Injury, I-N-J-U-R-Y, damage or harm to the body. Intersection, I-N-T-E-R-S-E-C-T-I-O-N, a point where two or more roads meet. Knee pad, K-N-E-E-P-A-D, a protective pad worn on the knee. Ostrich, O-S-T-R-I-C-H, a large flightless bird with a long neck and legs. Risk, R-I-S-K, the chance of something bad happening. Shock, S-H-O-C-K, a sudden strong reaction to a distressing or frightening experience. Snowstorm, S-N-O-W-S-T-O-R-M, A heavy fall of snow accompanied by strong winds. Sure, here is a random relisting of the given words. Knee pad. Ostrich. Fog. Helmet. Snowstorm. Intersection. Injury. Risk. Badge. Shock. Here are the definitions of the words you provided. Adjust. To move or change something slightly in order to make it fit or work properly. Avoid. To keep away from something or someone. Crash. To hit something hard and suddenly. Encounter. To meet or experience something, especially something unexpected or dangerous. Misjudge. To make a mistake in judging something or someone. Obey. To follow the instructions or rules of someone in authority. Occur. To happen or take place. Pay attention. To concentrate on what is happening or being said. Prevent. To stop something from happening. Release. To let something or someone go free. Skid. To slide suddenly and uncontrollably. Speed. The rate at which someone or something is moving. Swerve. To turn suddenly from one direction to another. Tailgate. To drive too close to the vehicle in front of you. Weave. To move in a zigzag pattern. Here is a random list of the words. Skid. Swerve. Misjudge. Weave. Crash. Encounter. Tailgate. Pay attention. Obey. Speed. Adjust. Prevent. Occur. Release. Avoid. Sure, here are the definitions of the words you provided. Break. To separate into two or more pieces, usually by force or by coming into contact with a hard surface. Burn. To cause physical damage to tissue by exposure to heat, radiation, or chemicals. Cut. To make a slit or opening in something by drawing a sharp edge or blade across it. Die. To cease to exist, especially as a result of death. Fracture. A break or crack in a bone. Poke. To jab or prod someone or something with one's finger or another object. Scar. A mark left on the skin as a result of a healed injury. Slip. To lose one's footing and suddenly fall or slide. Sprain. To twist or wrench a joint so that the ligaments are stretched or torn. Here is a random list of the words. Slip. Sprain. Scar. Poke. Fracture. Die. Cut. Burn. Break. Sure, here are the definitions of the words you provided, along with a random relisting of the words. Aggressive, showing or characterized by hostility or violence. Cautious, marked by care and attention to avoid danger or error. Distracted, unable to concentrate because of something that is drawing one's attention away. Drowsy, feeling sleepy or lethargic. Injured, suffering from physical or emotional harm. Rude, lacking courtesy or politeness. Ill-mannered. Severe, very serious or intense. Unconscious, not conscious or aware of one's surroundings. Random relisting. Drowsy, unconscious, injured, distracted, aggressive, severe, cautious, rude. Sure, here are the definitions of the words you provided, along with a random relisting of the words. Herself, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the female subject of a sentence. Himself, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the male subject of a sentence. Itself, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the neuter subject of a sentence. Myself, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the speaker of a sentence. Ourselves, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the speaker and one or more other people. Themselves, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to two or more people previously mentioned. Yourself, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to the person being spoken to. Yourselves, an intensive or reflexive pronoun used to refer back to two or more people being spoken to. Because, a conjunction used to introduce a reason or explanation. So, an adverb or conjunction used to express a consequence, reason, or result. I guess, a phrase used to express uncertainty or opinion. Lucky day, a phrase used to express that something good has happened. Look at it this way, a phrase used to encourage someone to consider a situation from a different perspective. Stuck in, to be unable to escape or move freely. Random relisting of the words, themselves. Ourselves. I guess. Myself. Yourself. Lucky day. Because. So. Itself. Himself. Look at it this way. Stuck in. Yourselves. Her. Sure. Here is a paragraph using the given words with the title, Did you hurt yourself? Did you hurt yourself? On a snowy afternoon, I encountered a snowstorm while driving home. I was paying enough attention to the road, but the fog and the snow were making it difficult to see. As I slowed down to be cautious, an aggressive ostrich swerved in front of me. I tried to swerve to avoid it, but I skidded and crashed into an intersection. I was injured in the crash, but I was lucky day because I was wearing my helmet, knee pad, and badge. I was able to adjust my equipment and release myself from the car. I wasn't able to get out of the car on my own because I was myself. I was in shock and I had a severe injury to my leg. I was able to avoid any further injuries because I paid attention to my surroundings and I obeyed the traffic laws.